97.3 Citi FM. Relevant radio, always.
Hello and welcome to Politicos on Citi TV. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadu. This week, a number of security-related issues. The BNI has arrested some 3 ex-police officers from South Africa. They have made their appearance in court. What are the charges? We'll bring that to you. Also, we've heard about some raids at some pro-political party installations in the capital. The Dankwa Institute, for instance, has been raided. What were they looking for and what did they find? We'll tell you on Politicos. So this week we've heard about a number of raids. We've particularly heard about the raid on the Dankwa Institute, which is a pro-opposition think tank. What exactly happened at that place? Sami Wiafi is a man who covered that story. So Sami, what happened when the unnamed officials came to raid the Dankwa Institute on Thursday night?
Well, on Thursday night, we had a call that there was a raid taking place at the Dankwa Institute at Laboni. So immediately I rushed there to see what really was happening. When I got there, I saw the place has been ransacked, for want of a better word. I spoke to the caretaker in the house. He only gave his name as Razak. And he said around 9:30 p.m., 7 men, 1 police officer armed, came to the house or the office and demanded that they were given access to the offices. And so he resisted. And he said one of them jumped the wall and they came to open the gates, and then the 7 of them entered. And so he was like, "What do you want? Who sent you here?" They didn't give any explanation. So the guy said out of fear, he ran into his room and locked. There were attempts to break into the room where the caretaker was. But he said he started making telephone calls to the people who work at the Dankwa Institute, including the leadership of the NPP. And so they rushed there, knowing very well that this gentleman has made telephone calls. The people ran away. The 7 men who came to the house ran away. Okay. So when the party executives came there, I spoke to Peyo Kujato, Deputy Director of Communication for the party, and he tells me they were unable to tell which particular documents were taken away. But a visit to the offices indicates that indeed the place has been ransacked.
Did the caretaker tell you what kind of uniforms they were wearing, these men who raided the offices?
Out of the 7, 1 was in a police uniform, okay, and the other were in mufti. Okay. He was saying that they told him that they came from the BNI, but the police officer was armed. And so he assumed that the 6 were from the BNI, and then the police officer is coming from the Ghana Police Service. Okay,
have officials of the BNI or police said anything as yet as to whether they confirm they raided the place or not?
Not at all. They are yet to speak on this particular matter.
Thank you very much. Sami Wiafi is a man who is following that raid at the Dankwa Institute. So this week, 3 persons were brought before the courts here in Accra. These are South African nationals. They are ex-police officers. They have been arrested for what the governing party describes as mercenary activities. What exactly did they do and why are they in court? Franklin Bedu Jr. is a man who went to the court this week and he's joined me on Politicos. Welcome, Franklin. So what were the charges first of all?
So there were the charges preferred against the 3 South Africans include charges of conspiracy to commit crime, false declaration, and unlawful training. And these are some of the charges against these 3 South Africans. They were arrested some days ago and are being accused of engaging some other Ghanaians who have been confirmed to be bodyguards of Nana Dankwa Akufo-Addo and Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, their bodyguards and their drivers. So these South Africans are being accused of engaging these men in some military exercises suspected to have military or security implications for the state.
Are they still behind bars or they've been granted bail?
At the circuit court presided over by Justice Patricia Kwanzaa granted bail to these 3 South Africans and ex-police officers, and one of the counsels or lawyers for these South Africans attached here pleaded with the judge to hold these suspects in her registry until they fulfilled their bail requirements. What happened was that after the judge had granted them bail, the BNI or BNI operatives whisked them back into the BNI cells.
Let's go back a step. So we know that they were brought in by Delta Security, according to the NPP's Deputy Communications Director, Peyo Kujato. Why is the NPP interested in the case if these are just trainers with a security company?
With what happened in court on Thursday, it was confirmed by counsel, the lead counsel for the 3 South Africans, that they were indeed invited into the country by 2 persons, Captain Edmund Koda, retired, and Captain Retired Kwesi Akwa. So these are the two men who invited these persons into the country. Captain Koda, retired Koda, is the head of security for Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, and Captain retired Akwa is one of the men who also handles Nana security. So they were invited into this country by these two men.
These two gentlemen were also provisionally charged earlier. What happened to them in court?
They were provisionally charged on Wednesday and granted bail, but the state has dropped all charges against these two men. These two men were also held in connection to the charges preferred against the South Africans, but their charges have been dropped.
Yeah, what does it mean for the state to drop charges against individuals like that?
That will mean that the state has no interest or doesn't have sufficient evidence to back the charges preferred against.
But they could be charged on a different count subsequently if they so wish.
Subsequently, if new evidence is gathered and the state feels that it has enough to charge these two men, I'm sure they have the right constitutionally to do that. So right now, as of Thursday and Friday, what the lawyers for the South Africans wanted to do was to make sure that these South Africans are no longer in BNI custody.
Thank you very much. Franklin Bedu Jr. is a man who went to the courts where 3 South African ex-police officers were granted bail in claims that have been described as mercenary activities by the governing NDC. The MPP, though, says they were just bringing in the people to help train their core security team. And that's how we end this edition of Politicos on Citi TV. My name is Umaru Sanda Amadu. Join us again next week for an analysis and a discussion on the topical issues that made headlines during the week. Have a pleasant weekend.